morning. Buenos dias. I'm Councilwoman Felicita Mendoza. I represent District 8. This is my first budget hearing, so thank you so much for being here. We have with us our city manager, Ed Zerker, who's going to do the budget presentation, correct? And we have 3 speakers, so we'll go ahead and get that started.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Let's get warmed up this morning. Give her a round of applause. All right. Get our blood moving here. Welcome, South Mountain Community Center. Thank you for coming. This is the 5th of our 19 budget hearings and our first one in South Phoenix. So you are first in line here to see this in this part of town. We have several things for you. So I'm going to start by asking our Spanish language interpreter, Sandra, to introduce herself. Thank you. If you are interested, when you came in, you could have picked up a budget information booklet that has some pretty good detail about what we're proposing. Every year we talk about the Phoenix budget. We primarily talk about our general fund budget, which is about 1/3 of the money that the city spends every year. But it's most of the things that people think about as the core services that they think of when they think of the city: police, fire, 911, streets, and those sorts of things, senior services, parks and libraries. Those are all general fund. We have a much bigger budget, as we'll explain in the video, but we focus a lot on what resources we have in the general fund. And this year we have some good news about our general fund and about what we're able to do with our Phoenix employees. And I also want to thank our Phoenix employees who are here today. Thank you for coming to listen to our residents and neighbors. Our employees are here to answer questions if there are any, talk to you, but also so they can hear what's important to the community. We're going to go through in a video a very high-level overview of it. It is very high level. If you want more detail, there's more in this booklet. If you want even more detail, it's always available on the budget research budget website at phoenix.gov/budget. I want to thank Jimmy Arwood from Mayor Gallego's office for being here as well, representing Mayor Gallego this morning. With that, we're going to take about 9 minutes to watch an overview video. Then we'll go to the cards. We'll give each speaker at least 3 minutes to tell us things that are of interest to you about the budget, or we hear things about what is of interest in the city generally. And then we take this feedback. It's really important. It does shape how the council views the budget based on the feedback they hear every day. If you'd like to speak, please fill out a card. We have 3 of them so far, so if there's more during the video, please fill out a card and we'll hear from you. With that, I'll ask Aaron to roll tape.
Welcome to your first look at the City of Phoenix trial budget for 2019-20, proposed by the city manager for public review and comment. The city budget is about people and programs for a stronger Phoenix. Every year, the city prepares a trial budget. This process gives you, our residents, an opportunity to share your priorities and feedback on how tax dollars are spent. 3 important points about this year's budget. It is balanced, which is required by law, and there is a surplus to allocate toward people and programs. Also, for the first time since the recession, ongoing revenues are equal to ongoing costs. We have a nearly $1.4 billion structurally balanced general fund budget thanks to Phoenix's continued strong economy and sound leadership by the mayor and city council. These efforts have led to a projected surplus of $55 million, of which $35 million is in ongoing resources and $20 million is in one-time resources. Over the next several minutes, we'll provide you a high-level view of the recommendations for how that surplus could be spent. Approximately 70% of the surplus is proposed for employee compensation, and the remaining 30% is proposed for services. And $5.5 million to continue investing in the Public Safety Pension Reserve Trust Fund to protect against unexpected downturns in investments. The 2019-20 trial budget continues to provide the core services residents expect. Chief among these is public safety. In addition, many recommendations are focused on improving neighborhoods, parks, libraries, support for outreach and services for people experiencing homelessness, additional street landscape maintenance, and preparations for the 2020 census. The city also continues to invest in maintaining the facilities you depend on and the fleet of vehicles that provide you everything from police response to street cleanups. Besides these proposals, we'll highlight expenditures that help the city address growth in construction and maintain the city's wastewater infrastructure. First, general fund recommendations. The general fund is made up of several different sources of revenue, including sales taxes, state shared revenue, and property taxes. 3/4 of the general fund pays for police, fire, and courts, with a smaller portion, the remaining 25%, going for everything else, like libraries, parks, senior services, arts, and administrative and support functions. The primary focus of the general fund service additions is public safety across a wide array of departments. Here are some of the proposals. 8 new firefighter positions to provide 24-hour operations at Fire Station 55 at I-17 and Jomax Road in North Phoenix. The creation of 1 new fire department crisis intervention unit, and in the police department, de-escalation training and community response services support for officer-involved shootings. These recommendations are based on public feedback from last year's budget process and the city's Traumatic Incident Intervention Resources Ad Hoc Committee. Another key area of public safety funding is focused on improving police support processes, using civilian staff to free up police officers' valuable time for calls and service. First, the addition of 10 civilian positions to support a federally mandated transition to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting National Incident-Based Reporting System. And second, the addition of 13 positions to streamline police booking procedures and create 2 new centralized booking centers to get officers back on the street faster. The trial budget also provides funding for increased inspection capacity to ensure buildings are meeting fire safety codes. Other public safety allocations: public defender representation for veterans and individuals with mental illness. In human services, add a caseworker and a vehicle to provide mobile victim advocacy. Security guard staffing at every library. Technology funding for cybersecurity to protect the city's infrastructure. In all, the trial budget proposes spending an additional $6.5 million on these and other public safety additions. Now, let's look at where you live, investments in programs to strengthen neighborhoods. First, the budget would allocate approximately $1 million to add staff to work with neighborhood groups, to clean up blight, work with nearby businesses, and improve response times for neighborhood issues. Parks and Recreation would see 8 new park ranger positions to increase patrol coverage at neighborhood and urban parks for a cost of about $1.1 million. Street Transportation and Public Works would support neighborhoods by transitioning staff from a temporary to permanent status to clean up encampments and washes and right-of-way for a cost of $970,000. Historic Preservation would also get $75,000 to support historic property preservation. In all, neighborhood revitalization would see an additional $3.5 million in funding. Next, Community Services additions restore some desired programs to strengthen the community and expand other resident requests, including restoration of Sunday library hours at 4 branches means all libraries will be open to provide greater access to in-demand books, movies, classes, and programs for library patrons of all ages. Expand the Phoenix Teens program for youth at 10 city sites, providing youth programs 6 days per week at a cost of $448,000. Providing case management assistance for homeless seniors and grant funding for arts organizations for youth and underserved communities would also be included. The budget would also add $1.3 million for long-standing street landscape maintenance needs, increasing frequency of maintenance from 3 to 4 times per year. New this year, a proposal to allocate funding to implement participatory budgeting or other projects in City Council districts. Lastly, the city will invest in outreach to encourage residents to take part in the 2020 census. Given the move to digital form submission this census, the additional funds will help to ensure hard-to-count and hard-to-reach populations participate, so that Phoenix gets its fair share of the approximately $866 million in annual revenues allocated through federal programs for public safety, transportation, housing, and human services. Overall, added general fund expenditures outlined in the trial budget total $55.2 million and would add 131 positions to strengthen our people, programs, services, and infrastructure. Moving on to propose non-general fund additions for a variety of services. Strengthening our street transportation department with 11 positions added or converted to full-time for a variety of services to support increasing work in the right-of-way and the recently expanded street maintenance funding in the Capital Improvement Program budget, $768,000. Water Services will see 21 positions and approximately $2.9 million in funding to keep up with demand at the department's 91st Avenue treatment site, the state's largest. The site is currently treating 180 million gallons of water a day for more than 2.5 million residents in 5 cities. Finally, 19 positions for planning and development to address increasing construction demand, including reduction of turnaround times for pre-application submittals and complex commercial architectural plans. Added staff to ensure adherence to fire system requirements and ADA accessibility codes, and to maintain a 24-hour turnaround time for residential inspections. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the 2019-20 trial budget. We hope that you'll review additional details in the budget pamphlet available at one of our 19 community budget hearings and online at phoenix.gov/budget. Please share your feedback in whatever way works best for you, at a public meeting or via email at budget.research@phoenix.gov. You can comment on the city's social media at City of Phoenix AZ on Facebook or Twitter and use #PhoenixBudget, or call us at 602-262-4800. Thank you for being part of this important process.
All right, we can catch the lights. Oh. Thank you. And thank you to our Senior Center staff for having this open for us. Just a couple things, and we'll get to the cards. I want to mention, particularly here in South Mountain area, 2 things we owe thanks to Councilman Mendoza and Councilman Nowakowski for. And I said the video was a high level. It didn't cover everything in this booklet, but there is an addition in this budget to add an ambulance company to Levine. That's good for Levine, but it's also good for the South Mountain area because currently ambulance calls are often taken from this first due area, and so it stretches our resources from central, southern Phoenix all the way to Levine. So Councilman Mendoza and Councilman Nowakowski have really advocated for that, and so we're going to add a full ambulance company into Station 57, 59, 58. I'll get around it there. So Station 58 is getting a full ambulance company. A couple other things that your council member has really advocated for. Park activations. We know that that bad things don't happen in parks when lots of people are engaged in the park. And so we're going to do some more work to get the parks active with kids and families. That makes other people not really want to be there when they're full of people doing the things that we want them to do in parks. And also victim advocacy. Councilman Mendoza has very much advocated to increase victim advocacy, and we have a mobile victim advocate primarily one of our underserved areas is South Phoenix and victim advocacy, and so this budget adds that as well. So just some highlights that you get by getting into more detail that's in here, more than we can do in about an 8-minute video. But with that, we'll ask you to come speak at the microphone so that the Phoenix TV folks can capture you. This will be posted on the Phoenix TV channel, Channel 11, and Phoenix TV YouTube. So it's available for anybody to see. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Councilwoman Mendoza.
Thank you, Ed. Our first speaker is Julian Sodari.
All right. Okay, I'll go down like that. Thank you. My name is Julian Sodari, and I'm a resident in the Grand Park neighborhood, which is just between Central and 7th Avenue, Grant, and Buckeye Road. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am interested in two concerns that I'm going to be bringing up today. This morning is parks. Parks is a very important piece of property in each neighborhood, which people really enjoy and are there every single day. Our park, the Grand Park in the Grand Park neighborhood, is a place where a lot of people meet and enjoy. Anyway, what my concern is that we don't have exercise equipment in this park, and I would say that a lot of people would, because there's been a study made by Phoenix Revitalization Corporation in this park, and the annual rate for this neighborhood is $18,000 a year. So we have people that can't really afford to go to a gym or do a contract somewhere and do exercising inside a facility, which they would maybe go to the park and enjoy maybe some exercise equipment in the park. We've gotten some details. Maybe it would be maybe be in the vicinity of $50,000, I would say, and there is plenty of space to put this equipment in the Grand Park, and hopefully you take the opportunity and look into this matter for our neighborhood. Thank you very much. And the other thing is that there is a building called the Dupa House. And this little house is over 100 years old, and it's just been boarded up and fenced in because there wasn't the funding to actually revitalize it and bring it back to its original condition. It's made out of adobe, and right now it's got a straw roof on it, but apparently it was maybe vigas at one time, and it was one of the first buildings that was developed here in the city of Phoenix, and it's just deteriorating. I think something like that would be, I heard the price for this rehab would be maybe between $150,000 and $200,000, and I think that would be a good place to start. Would be something that's been there for over 100 years. And now that the light rail is coming down Central and we're right next to it, I mean, it could be a very good view for our neighborhood. Thank you for listening.
Julian, can I just ask you a question? When you talk about exercise equipment, are you talking like inside the gym, or are you talking outside?
Outside,
Okay.
Exterior, maybe around the park itself, or
Okay.
maybe even in a centralized space.
Okay.
For the park itself.
And then where approximately is the Dupa House?
The Dupa House is on 2nd Avenue, just south of Grant Street.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sodari. Our next speaker, Gloria Gonzalez.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. My name is Gloria Gonzalez, and I am here representing the Garfield organization, a neighborhood alliance formed by other Garfield residents such as myself, with the sole interest of fostering a stronger sense of community to create a safer, more beautiful, and connected neighborhood. Now let me tell you why I'm here. In 2008, the City of Phoenix commissioned a preliminary roadway and drainage analysis for 13th Street from Moreland to Van Buren. To improve drainage conditions, the intent was to develop alternatives for the installation of curbs, gutters, and asphalts along 13th Street. 11 years later, nothing has changed. There is still no curbs and gutters, so every time it rains in the valley, especially in this area, 13th Street, the cross streets along the approximately 1 mile long stretches from Moreland to Van Buren become water pools. Residents frequently deal with flooding as water covers sidewalks and enters their front yard and into their homes every single monsoon season. Soon after the rain, but before drying out, residents deal with not only standing murky water, but mold and debris. When the rainwater dries, most of 13th Street is filled with cloud or dust. This brings yet another issue to the residents. Those seeking to park next to their own homes along the side of the road on 13th Street have been ticketed by the city police department for parking on non-dusted, proofed surfaces. Where else would and could they park in front of their own home? Clearly, these residents often find themselves in a catch-22 situation that without a doubt would not be tolerated in most communities. Moreover, Garfield Elementary School is located on the southeast corner of 13th Street and Roosevelt, has its main entrance on 13th Street. All children attending Garfield Elementary walk through clouds of dust, water pools, mold, and other debris on a regular basis. For those of us who are unaware, Garfield is also recognized historic neighborhood adjacent to other historic neighborhoods in the downtown Phoenix. A long overdue solution has been sought out by Garfield residents for decades. Garfield has been a neighborhood initiative area for the city of Phoenix since 1990. Throughout the years, Garfield residents have been requesting help from the city representatives and other city officials, and nothing has happened. We kindly request the funds be allocated for not only paving, but actually add curbs and gutters to 13th Street. Your support will allow the residents to have homes free of flooding, dust throughout the years. As myself, I'm a senior in the neighborhood. Our children can get sick, but so can our seniors. We need your support, and we're there for anything that you need, and we'll do anything that we can to get this taken care of. And thank you for your attention.
Gloria, can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
Has there been a neighborhood meeting? When's the last time there was a neighborhood or group meeting about 13th Street?
About
with city?
A week and a half ago?
With city staff.
Oh, with city staff?
Yeah.
Let me see, maybe about a month. And they came and spoke to us, and they said, no, they would not take care of it because it wasn't allocated in the budget.
And who was they? Streets or neighborhoods?
It was somebody from the city,
okay,
and then somebody from the streets also, both of them. And that's why the frustration continues, because we think, how long do we have to wait?
Okay. So we have a 5-year capital improvement program. So from this hearings, I'll go back and check with our streets department and see where there might be some room in that to start working on design.
We would appreciate it
construction
because
and
it's
estimate.
just, it's so sad seeing the children and then the mothers that take the preschoolers to school. They've got to jump over the water and it's just a mess. So,
I drove up there. It looks like there's some sidewalk, but not curb, right? But there's a little bit of sidewalk, but it looks like it probably gets flooded because it's at the same level as the street. It needs
correct.
a gutter and a curb.
There's no drainage at all
Okay.
there. And I do have some pictures for you. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
here's another one. Oh, here it is. There's one in the back here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez. Our next speaker is Mr. Dan Penton.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan Penton, and I live in Laveen. I'm here representing the Laveen Community Council. There's a couple of things that, first I want to say thank you very much, Councilwoman, for getting and advocating for the full-time ambulance. Right now, our response times are anywhere between 10 to 18 minutes for any type of emergency response and like that. So this is going to drastically reduce that. With all the coming development in Laveen as well, though, one thing that I think needs to seriously be addressed is the lack of the presence of police. And I think it's definitely would be worth exploring bringing back a precinct to Laveen, or at least finding a way to get additional officers there, at least in the parks or on the weekends, something to increase the presence, because it's just, there's like 15,000 homes I think on the books for over the next couple of years, and it's with that extra population, you're just going to see a rise. With the rise in population comes a rise in crime anywhere, and it's just another thing would be our parks. We're aware that we have the community center coming, and we're excited for that. A lot of people are concerned about what type of funding for the programs that will be there, and additionally, if there's any plans for the aquatic center, possibly an indoor pool, just because there's nothing like that in Laveen or South Phoenix. And the last thing would be historic preservation. Out of all of the villages and out of all of cities, Phoenix's 500 square miles, there are no historic overlays south of the freeway, and especially in Laveen. I think there's only one special district plan, and that's the Mountain Park neighborhood that was adopted in the ordinance in 1987 to protect the rural character of that community. Again, with all the coming development, we feel that our rural heritage, the agrarian feel of the community is at risk. There's 21 identified historic properties in Laveen, only one of which is on the National Register of Historic Places, and that's Building A at 51st and Dobbins. There are 10 properties just along Dobbins Road between 27th Avenue and 67th Avenue alone. And that's starting at the old Del Monte Market, which is 4 years older than Arizona's estate. And you've got the original cotton gin, which is built in 1923, the La Salvia Dairy, and several other homesteads along Dobbins as well. That's designated a scenic roadway, but there's no historic overlay or anything that's protecting those the sight lines to the mountains, the South Mountain Park, or the Estrellas. So we would really like to see some type of historic preservation or some type of overlay put in place to protect that, restricting building heights and doing something to beautify or make that an asset to the neighborhood. And to go with that would be also the Sachs Webster House. I don't know if that's still owned by the city. It's at 75th and Baseline. It's a 1908 Sears catalog home, and it's been fenced off and it looks pretty dilapidated. just seeing something done with that and have it turned into an education center with the Parks Department or some type of, heritage museum. I don't know. We can always explore those things, but there's, been a million ideas tossed around, but just seeing it just, withering away there in the sun is just, it's a shame. So,
Thanks, Dan. So just a couple things. On the police side, we do need to hire more police officers, and we actually have the ability to do that. We have just now, this month, we have finally gotten to 3,000 police officers. Our low number of police officers in 2015, I think it was 2,700, 2,725. The city's been hiring steadily now for the last 4 years. We have budget capacity for 3,125. We're at about 3,015 or so, including recruits in the academy, and we're always looking for more. So one of the things is to find qualified people who want to be police officers. If you know anybody, send them our way. Another thing in the budget is we're focusing this year on the police side with adding civilians so that our police officers can have more time to do the work that they like to do and we're hired to do. So we put some civilians in detention, in centralized booking, to reduce the amount of time our police officers have to spend booking people. Right. So this budget has civilians to do that and to help streamline that process. It's going to take a couple, 3 years to get that done, but there's a start there. So that's really important. And then park rangers. There's a group of park rangers added here for our flatland parks. We heard last year, we added some last year. It was very successful. We need to have more rangers, not in the mountain preserves as much as we need more in the flatland parks to deal with that. So we're trying to approach many of those things. But the HP thing is interesting, and I'll talk to our historic preservation director about that as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Mary Rose Wilcox.
Good morning. Sorry I was a little late, but I felt it important to come. I'm Mary Rose Wilcox, and I'm a public-private partner with the city at Grant Park. And Councilwoman, you're very familiar with Grant Park. Thank you for all the help you've been giving us. And Manager Zuckert, thank you. I'm here today to really say that I appreciate the money you're putting into parks, because I learned a long time ago that an ounce of cure is worth a pound of prevention. And when you talk about parks and recreation, for many years, sometimes that's not top priority because of the other needs of the city. This year, I know you've heard from one of our neighbors at Grant Park who talked about exercise equipment, but I'm here to ask you to keep it as flexible as you can with our public-private partnerships. We're working on the bathrooms right now at Grant Park, and I have some contractors who may be donating some of the things that we need to improve it. And if the city can see in their hearts to make sure that the city can install them, the budget allows for it, that will help us out quite a bit. In the true spirit of public-private partnership, we're trying to be a good partner and ask that you stay as flexible as you can. The other thing, too, I'd like to mention, the grants that we get from the neighborhood departments, they're tremendous for the community. We have had some very good luck in the Grant Park, Central Park, and the Central City area, so I hope that continues. I'm not sure how much it is in the budget, but those are kind of like self-help for the communities, and it's tremendous. As you know, I was a city councilwoman for many years, and I'm so glad to see the city reaching out and coming into our communities and having all these hearings. I just want to say thank you and ask that Parks and Rec get top priority for the children of our community. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mary Rose. You just raised something in this budget book. There's probably one of the least exciting things in the budget book. To most people, might be exciting to you. We're adding park maintenance positions and equipment to the downtown division. I think Grant Park is in that. To improve response times for plumbing and other maintenance issues at urban parks, sports, and cultural facilities located within the central area. So That sometimes those things get overlooked in the more exciting things, but you bring up the point of those are really important when we have bathrooms at our parks. We need to make sure they're clean and maintained, and we have to have people who do that. Our people have to do that. So thank you for supporting that and for your service
really
in the
good
council.
Because I know Esther's here, and sometimes I'll have to call and say, can we get a work order in? But I do want to also say, I forgot, Felicita, Councilman Mendoza, thank you. The lights on the court got fixed. And Sunday night, we had probably about 150 kids at the park. So it was like great. So thank you. And also the park rangers. That's extremely important because many times people look at rangers as only the mountain rangers, and the flatlands need them too. It takes a load off of the police department, and if people know that they're coming around at a certain, they're going to be coming around and see the truck there, everybody behaves a lot better. Thank you.
Do we have any more cards in the back? No? Okay. That's it. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you for your feedback. One of the things that I've always been proud of our city is the fact that we do come out to the community and we hear your concerns and your needs and your wants and our budget. And after a few budget hearings, a lot of those things are reflected in the budget. So thank you so much again for your feedback, and thank you for being here. I know it's really early. Thank you.